Hey there guys, welcome back to another live stream. Today is the 5th of June 2026. It is the last day of the trading week. So we're going to dive straight into the session and see what the day unfolds. Hopefully we'll get a good trade setup in order to wrap up the week in good terms. But as always, we're going to start off by delineating today's new day open, which happens at approximately 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So as you guys can see, I've drawn a vertical line on that 6 p.m. mark. I'm now going to go and look at my current day high, which came in at 8:30. I do believe that this current day high came in the form of NFP. What I'm going to do is quickly just sift through our different indices, being the Nasdaq, the S&P 500, as well as the Dow Jones Industrial Index. So I've marked out those levels. I'm quickly going to draw another vertical level on the S&P in order to see what today's trading range will be. So we've got new day open, we have current day high, right. This is for the S&P. We'll go ahead and do the exact same thing on the Nasdaq. Right. Got current day low in place. Cool, so we are all set on the Nasdaq, we're all set on the S&P 500. I think it's just the Dow that we still need to do now, so we've marked our current day high. Now we are looking for current day's low. Brilliant, alright, so we're all set now. Like I said, I've drawn out the new day opening gap, which starts at about 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've also gone ahead and looked at our sell-side liquidity in form of current day's low and buy-side liquidity in form of current day's high. So I am looking at the highest high and the lowest low from 6 p.m. onwards. So from 6 p.m. to right now, we've marked out those specific liquidity levels. We pretty much have the roadmap in place. Now we just need to remain patient. We have approximately 10 seconds left until market opens. So what I'm going to do is go over to my FX book in order to see what the fundamentals are for the day. So if we look at Friday, June 2026, we've actually already had our high economic news impact come in the form of non-farmer payroll, which is essentially just the unemployment rate within the United States, and we actually saw that form the high of day for the Dow Jones. It was a little bit lackluster on the S&P 500. So if I hold my mouse over there, you'll see that at 8:30 we have that news, and that's created the high of day, which is my buy side liquidity level for the Dow. Then the S&P 500, we've already rated the sell side level on the S&P. On the Nasdaq. S&P pretty much the same, which is good for us. It's a very fast start to the session. So what I'm going to do is swap over to our 3-month chart, and that way we just have a better depiction of what price is doing in tandem with one another. So as you can see, with Nasdaq on the left, we've already seen red in that sell side. Likewise with the S&P, we also have a red sell side. Now I am also focusing on the Dow, and the good news here is that it does look like if the Dow continues its downwards momentum, we would see a sell side raid in all three of our indices, which would point towards bullish price action, or at least a bullish price for me. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that out. I've got bullish price set for Nasdaq, done the same here, and for the Dow I am just going to put a neutral price for now. We're going to wait and see what happens. Should we take out that specific sell side level in the form of current day's low for the Dow, I will be looking to go bullish. Alright, so like I said, just want to remain patient, see exactly what the rest of this 5-minute candle does. We've had a fairly volatile open. We've already seen two different asset classes raid their specific liquidity levels, which is a very good sign for me. I'm not looking for upwards objectives towards the upside in form of buy side coming in at current day high. We've also taken a look once again at our fundamentals. We don't have any other news coming in today. All the news is done for the day. The next news event will only be on Tuesday, the 9th. So that's not going to affect us in any way, shape, or form. Alright. Alright, so perfect time. Should we get to a point where we are looking to take a specific position, you guys are going to get to see me calculate everything in live time. You guys will be able to see exactly how much I'm willing to risk and the specific calculation or formula I use in order to interpret what my specific volume lot size is going to be for that. And we're going to be doing all of that on this specific terminal. So here you'll be able to see that this is my interim broker. Now, I'm not an affiliate with them, nor do I recommend the specific interim broker, but these are just the guys that I use. Right next to it, you'll see that it says Real 20, which essentially just means that this is a real account. This is live funds. It's by no means a demo account. Should it be a demo account or essentially quote unquote paper money, it would say Trial 20. So the Real 20 is essentially just the server that it's that I'm trading on. Then here's where you guys are going to get to see me calculate my specific position. You guys can see here, I've got my opening balance, there's the equity. So right now we don't have any positions open, which is exactly why the balance and equity are identical. As soon as there is a position open and it is fluctuating either in a profit or a loss, you guys are going to get to see that right over here. It will also bring up whether I'm in a profit or a loss, and it will demonstrate what the difference is between my balance as well as my equity using that specific floating profit or floating loss. So you guys are going to get to see absolutely everything, and I just want to make sure that I am as transparent as humanly possible. This is really going to help me become a better trader. It holds me accountable. It essentially it's the best way of me journaling not only my trades, but journaling my emotions, journaling exactly how I articulate myself, what my thought process is for that particular trading session. And yeah, I mean, I've always been wanting to live stream trading, and now I finally have the opportunity to do so. I'm really going to do my absolute best to give you guys the best technical analysis. And for those of you who might be a little bit confused, technical analysis is basically just referring to price action in the form of candlesticks. Now, price action doesn't necessarily have to be on a candlestick chart. There are many different charts you guys can go ahead and use, but got the help of using candlesticks. It's just the chart that I've always looked to, learned from, and started off on. And I want you guys to basically just think of candlesticks as a language, alright? Price action is communicating specific data to you in the form of a candlestick, which has four main faculties. Those are a high, a low, an open, and a close. Now, dependent on the sequence of the open and close will determine whether that specific candle is either bullish or whether it is bearish. Now, if it is bullish, it means that the open is lower than the close. So price will open low, close high, and the candle that we see after that will be a bullish candle, which is represented by this green. Okay. Likewise, if a candle opens and it closes below its opening price, that candle is bearish, and we'll see that candle form in red. So right now you can see that we are currently bearish on our indices. I am, however, still looking to buy. Obviously not right now. There are a couple things that need to happen in order for me to participate in the market. But for right now, we're just going to stay patient. We are still very early on in our session. We've just seen sell side made in the form of previous day's low on the S&P in the middle of their charts. The Dow Jones is still very far from its previous day low. It's not even showing up on our charts. And the Nasdaq is pretty much the same thing. So we're not too concerned with the sell side liquidity at previous day's low. What I'm also concerned or also interested in seeing is a correlation between our three assets from an intraday perspective, meaning I want to see a SMT happen right now in today's trading range. And I'd like to once again remind you guys that intraday price action is essentially just all the price action that has formed in today's session. So that is anywhere from 6 p.m. apologies to right now. Okay, that's exactly why I've marked up this specific level. What I'll do is quickly go ahead and also label it. Alright, there you go. So now there's no more confusion. You guys can see here that new day open is marked out at 6 p.m. on the Nasdaq, as well as on the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Index. So we're just going to remain patient once more. That's pretty much going to be the most common phrase I use on these live streams, and that is obviously because it's the most important part to trading itself. We don't want to make incorrect decisions when it comes to trading. Now I understand it's just the nature of the game, sometimes you will go wrong, but we do want to mitigate that as much as humanly possible, and one of the best chances of us doing that is essentially just remaining patient. The best probable scenarios will always take their time in order to form, but more often than not, when we do see them, something captured my eye there. I was just going to say that more often than not, with these high probable, you will need to obviously remain patient, and price will always reveal itself. It's not going to just have a random impulse move. If there is a market maker buy model or market maker sell model to that specific trade or asset, it will always show us beforehand. And that's a brilliant thing about trading, is that nothing in price action is random. Everything has a rhyme and a reason, especially when you're dealing with a candlestick chart. It's just a lot more simple for us to interpret price from a technical standpoint. So for right now, we're just going to remain patient once more, see exactly what this session unfolds or what happens in this particular session. But I have made sure to add all the notes. Oof. There you go. Alright, so right now we're just seeing a push down lower on the Nasdaq, the S&P, and also the Dow. For me, to be honest, I want to see us push a little bit lower on the Dow. Perhaps we could target somewhat of a projection of yesterday's price. What I mean by that is, if I show you guys yesterday's entire range on the Dow, if we could return to about equilibrium of that specific day, okay, this is what I mean by that level. And the reason I want to see that is if we look at the S&P 500 or the Nasdaq, we've already traded past previous days low. We are very, very, very low compared to the S&P 500. Now with the S&P 500, we've also just taken out that specific level. So we've taken our previous days low on both the Nasdaq as well as the S&P 500. Ideally, we will see somewhat of a retracement, at least 50% on the Dow. Now, it's not going to be a given that we do see that. But if, however, we do, it's a very good indication to me that somewhat of the sell side from yesterday has been swept. We understand that at the specific impulse move, buyers are in control. So below each specific swing point, we will have some form of sell side liquidity. And we understand that the market is always going to try and contradict itself by essentially what I mean by that is, say for example, we take out a significant swing low. A lot of people will try to essentially go and trade that specific breakout. Whereas if we don't do that and we place ourselves in a contrarian point of view, then we're a lot safer off. We essentially want to go against the grain. We are not looking to chase price. And if we do chase price, we're essentially just putting ourselves in the bracket where if smart money hedges its positions against us, we will lose. We'd rather wait for some significant swing point to be taken in the form of current day low or current day high. Now we have just seen that. And likewise, we've also seen that the S&P has pushed even further than sell side in the form of current day low. It's taken out previous day's low as well. Now, right now we are seeing a small push towards the upside on the Dow Jones. See if that is also seen on the S&P 500. Right, so not a very significant push. We've obviously got the Dow being the strongest of the three pairs currently. But once again, this is not yet enough for me to want to act on. So we're just going to remain patient. We're going to see exactly what the rest of it does. And to Heidi, I want to say good day to you as well. I'd love to hear your vote, see whether or not you are bullish or bearish for the day. Also, let me know how you're doing, how your trading week has been so far. Hopefully you've been taking trades. Hopefully you've been seeing some profit. If not, don't worry about it. We're going to do our best to see if we can't carve out a profit in today's session. But for right now, I'm not focused on taking a position as of yet. Just want to remain patient, see what the rest of the session unfolds. We've just closed in on the first half an hour of this particular session. So there is still about 2 hours left until we get to noon Eastern Standard Time. And that is usually when I will start to somewhat take a seat back, see what the rest of the day unfolds. My understanding is that the majority of our volatility coming through in the New York AM session, which spans from about half to roughly 11:30. I'd say in those first 2 hours is where the biggest moves usually tend to happen. But I also stick around for about the last half an hour, so from half to about 12, which gives me the perfect 2.5 hour trading window in order to see whether or not I can get a specific trade setup. But for now, nothing yet. We want to see what these indices do. Hopefully we can form some form of common swing point like we are seeing now in that previous 5-minute candle. So at 10:05, that 5-minute candle has made a low on the Dow Jones, the S&P, as well as the Nasdaq. Now we're going to wait and see what this 5-minute candle does, how it closes, and that could possibly give us a common swing point of which we would be looking to see whether or not price will give us a cracking correlation. But as we speak right now, I don't want to get you guys in the habit of trying to predict price by giving you specific frameworks. I'd rather just react off of what the market does instead of trying to predict it. Okay, so right now, once again, we're going to see that all three of our assets are still somewhat pushing lower. They are clearly going for some specific zone. Now, ideally later on in the session, we will get a minor pushback up, and if price allows it, we'll be able to position ourselves in the long, because as you can see on the left of your screen, I have a bullish bias on the Nasdaq 100, I have a bullish bias on the S&P 500, and I'm also bullish on the Dow Jones on the right of your screen. So let's see what the rest of this 5-minute candle has. We have about 2.5 minutes until this 5-minute candle closes. Alright, so we have 1 minute left of this particular candle close. Now, what I want to see here is ideally this becomes a common swing point. In which case we will see it get rated on either one of our assets. Now, okay, so we see that 905 is a swing low, right? Or 10, sorry. So 955, 10, and 1005 are the three candles that form this particular swing low. We want to see price return to that specific swing low. Perhaps we can see a cracking correlation followed by a change in state of delivery. Now, it's important that I need to see that happen across majority of my pairs. Since we're dealing with three specific assets right here, majority would mean 2 of 3. Ideally, we could get all three of them to technically trade with one another. We see identical price action like this push up we're seeing right now. It's very good. But once again, I still need to remain patient. I still need to see if price can return to that specific swing low or form a new common swing low that we could see as our minor buy-side liquidity sweep. Sell-side liquidity sweep, apologies. And from there, we'd be able to position ourselves in whatever market gives us the most amount of confidence at that specific time. Now, for right now, we've just formed a common swing low, so I'm going to remain patient. We're going to see if we can't return to that specific swing low. If we continue to push up, we would need to see another swing low form. We need to see some form of liquidity sweep and then change in state of delivery. Because my understanding is that price is always going to position itself against you. So for those of individuals who are trying to trade the breakout of that specific swing low, it's just essentially going to act as a trap to get them in, and thereafter they'll take profit. These institutes will somewhat take profit or reduce their sizing in that specific position and open new orders that are contrarian to what the rest of retail is doing. Right, so if we're looking at our markets right now, we are seeing a minor push down towards that common swing low. I'd really like to see that get rated on either the Dow Jones, the S&P, or the Nasdaq. I've marked out all of them across all three of our pairs. I've also made sure that we can see all three of our pairs simultaneously. That way we can inform ourselves or stay informed rather with price action and how exactly it is moving across these specific indices. Now, I always assess or always analyze these futures with one another. As you can see, we could probably guess that the Dow Jones on the right of your screen will hit that common swing low first. And ideally, we won't see that happen across our Nasdaq on the left or our S&P 500. Now, if we see a raid in that minor sell side level, we ideally see a reversal or a change in status of our pairs. So I would need to see that on a pair that has rated that as well as a pair that has not rated that. We have approximately 2 minutes left of the 5-minute candle. Round we are seeing a push down, which is fairly awesome. Alright, so let's take a closer look as to what has just occurred. Now, we have seen a minor retracement down for that particular swing low. If we look at the bodies here on the S&P as well as the Dow, you'll see that on the Dow, my mouse is hovering the exact same candle. We have traded past the body. We've closed below that body. Now that to me qualifies as a liquidity raid, but it is not a liquidity sweep. Alright, so candles consist of highs, lows, opens, and closes. It's essentially the wick will take the liquidity sweep or do damage, whereas the body is going to tell the story. So right now we've seen the liquidity raid with the candle's low or the candle's body, but we have not seen the liquidity sweep. I need to see both of those. I need to see the low get taken of a swing low and the bodies be taken. So we've not yet seen a liquidity sweep, and that is crucial for me to see. So we're just going to stay patient once more. It does look like we might get another common swing point on this candle here. So if you pay attention to 1025 is a swing low across all three of our specific assets. Now we have approximately 1 minute and 15 seconds left. Should we form another common swing point, I'm just going to somewhat move my current common swing point up, and then we'll monitor this new one, see if we can't perhaps get a liquidity sweep followed with a liquidity raid, and thereafter we'll see if we maybe position ourselves in the market. Hopefully we do get a trade in this particular session. It's been somewhat lackluster for this entire week. Our Monday was good, Tuesday no trades, Wednesday no trades, Thursday no trades, so pretty much only Monday. But that's just part of the game. You know, you're not going to be entering trades every single day. More often than not, you will be sitting on your hands, staying patient. So trading like that is a little bit boring, but it is very fascinating to see how price action moves in real time. So let's stay patient, see what happens. We have approximately 20 seconds left of this 5-minute candle. Dependent on how we close will depend on what we do next. Okay, so for the Dow, I want to get your attention to this specific number, alright? Regardless of whether we think it is a swing point or not, just by looking at it, we need to make sure that the numbers also add up, okay? Because numbers are unbiased. Numbers essentially are facts. They cannot be swayed by any way, shape, or form. Now, with the Nasdaq, we don't really need to do that because we can straight away see that it is a swing point. The numbers would obviously just reaffirm that, which they do. Likewise with the S&P 500, but with the Nas or with the Dow, when we see candles that are somewhat close like this, we just want to make sure. So we can clearly see that the low comes in at 1025, and the value for that specific low is $51,456 US. So that is a common swing low across all three of our assets. Now we want to see what price can do. If price can return to that specific swing low, we want to see it get raided. We also want to look at the bodies. But for now, right now, we are seeing somewhat of a rally up. Now, I'm not looking to take a trade all the way to the buy side level. It is entirely possible that we will see an impulse move like that. But because we've already swept sell side across all three of our assets, I'm only going to be looking for a 1:1 trade. I'll quite literally just be getting out. Now I am going to be risking some sales for that specific trade, so I don't need a 1:3, 1:2. A simple 1:1 is very good for me. Now if you guys can consistently carve out a 1:1 in trading, that is very good. Because you're in an industry where your income level is essentially dependent on how much capital you have currently. So if you can just practice on the skill of being consistent within the market and proving profitability on a quantitative aspect, and not just, what I mean by that is you need to have proof that you are consistent And if you do have that proof, then the amount of investors that will come your way with money that you could have only dreamt of is truly realistic. So just prioritize on becoming consistent in trading, whether you're consistent in getting 1:1s, if you're consistent at getting a 1:2 risk to reward ratio, even if you're risking $1 and you only make 50 cents back, if you can do that consistently and you are still profitable on top of that specific strategy, I guarantee you that you will find some investors that will come your way. Or in today's age, we have these prop firms available. Now, I don't recommend prop firms to anyone simply because it is a business that thrives off of unprofitable traders. They make a lot more money from the people that cannot trade compared to the ones that can. And just the sheer volume of cases coming out now saying that they have been banned by these so-called prop firms when they already are profitable just essentially tells you all you need to know about that specific route. And that these so-called businesses don't really want to do business with profitable traders. They would much rather take money from these unprofitable traders because the amount of people that are unprofitable is much greater than the ones that are profitable. And that's just not the type of people you want to do business with. The last thing you want to do is essentially prove your worth by making these so-called companies a profit and then having resistance for your payouts because you've broken rules that are not publicly advertised. They are always going to come up with some form of excuse not to pay you. And training is hard enough as is. You don't want to go ahead and complicate it by these intermediates. So it's very important for you to just find investors that you can trust, find investors that you do know, find investors that are confident in you, that trust you, that back you. And that's pretty much just the name of the game. But for you guys right now, whether you're starting off, whether you're advanced, whatever it is, just got to focus on being profitable. And profitability is going to come through being consistently in the market, but not only in the market in terms of trading, but just showing up every single day. Every single day, be pessimistic and not optimistic when it comes to trading, because if I sit here, there is 100% chance that I'm going to lose my particular trade. But what I'm doing is essentially gathering as much intel in the form of data through price action or technical analysis that is going to mitigate the specific amount of, or the specific percentage of my loss. So I'm working backwards, constantly working backwards. I'm not sitting here lying to myself, telling myself that I'm going to win this particular trade. No, I'm essentially sitting here telling myself I'm going to lose this trade. Now I need to gather as much information I can to see whether or not I can get that loss rate as far down as humanly possible. And that essentially gives me more confidence in that specific setup, because high probability setups will always have numerous different confluences that are in your favor, and you're essentially trading what you see, not what you want to see, which is exactly why we want to remain patient at this particular point in time. We want to see if price can come down to our key level. Now the key level I've marked out here is this common swing point found at 1025 on the Nasdaq, as well as the S&P and the Dow Jones. So let's see what happens. We are currently seeing a push down on the Nasdaq as well as the S&P. Dow Jones is somewhat rallying higher. Now, I'm not seeing that, because that would obviously signal strength in the marketplace. That is technically ideal. What I would, however, like to see then is a cracking correlation between the Nasdaq as well as the S&P. I want to see one of those two specific pairs raid that common swing point where the other fails, and then I want to see all of them come together and start pushing towards the upside, because I am bullish on the Dow, I'm bullish on the S&P, and I'm bullish on the Nasdaq. Alright, so we're seeing price push down on all three of our indices. That is perfect. I just don't want to see all of them raid that specific swing low. Now, if we do that, I'm going to once again have to remain patient to see if we can't see another common swing point get raided. Fortunately, we do have one just under, but let's see what we can do at this first level. Alright, price is getting fairly close to that swing point, so let's remain vigilant. See if we can't get a close below with the body of the candle. Now 1 minute left. Alright, cool. So that 5 minute candle is very good for us. We can clearly see that we have a common bearish close on the 5 minute. Let's see if we can't see a raid below that specific swing point, as well as so I'm looking at the wick and I'm looking at the body simultaneously, and I need to see both of those happen. Now, more often than not, you guys will have heard of the term SMT, smart money tool, smart money technique, whatever rose your boat. The mistake that most people make is that they only look at the wick to see SMT, whereas it's not only the wick, it's the wick and the body. Thereafter, we need to see a change in state of delivery. Now, guys, what I'm preaching right now is absolute gold. If you guys can just wait for that specific thing to happen, you're already profitable. I can guarantee it, alright? And I can guarantee it because I've already backtested this, I've made money off of this, and this is what I do full time now, okay? So as we're looking right now, we can see that the Nasdaq and the S&P are giving us a slight retracement higher, whereas the Dow now seems to be the player that is going to take out that specific swing point first, okay? So let's remain patient. We're showing a push down on the Nasdaq and the S&P as well. Now it's going to be very interesting to see which pair takes out that specific swing point first. Alright, so we've got about 7 seconds left of this 5 minute close. Does look like we of this 5 minute candle. Does look like we are going to close bullish across across all three of our assets. Now that common string though is still in place. I'm still curious to see what exactly happens at that specific level. But I need to see at least that swing point get rated or the one below. Now I'm obviously going to keep you guys updated with what my thought process is, but for right now we're just going to sit on our hands, remain patient, and see if price can't go towards that specific level. It does look like the Nasdaq should be able to take out that swing low first, followed by the S&P 500. Fingers crossed we do not get that on the Dow, because that would essentially give us that cracking correlation where one of our pairs would raid that specific swing low and the other pair would fail. So let's see what happens up. Alright, let's take a deep dive, see if we can maybe see another common swing point on the Dow, or at least the S&P 500. Okay, so we do have another common swing point on the indices, found at 1045. Now, regardless of whichever one of those specific swing points we take out, we still need to see cracking correlation as well as a change in state of delivery. So we do still have a couple confluences we need to pan out essentially for us to take that specific trade. But fortunately, there are quite a couple scenarios that could happen within the next coming minutes. And we are somewhat early on in the session. I think we've got about 58 minutes left until noon, and I'll be stepping out at noon. So fingers crossed, within these next 58 minutes, we do get both a liquidity sweep, raid, change of state of delivery across at least two of our assets. Now, right now, we've just seen the Nasdaq take out that specific swing low, that swing point. So we want to see if price can't perhaps now give us a change in state of delivery, whilst we still have SMT between the Nasdaq as well as the ES. Alright, so we've got 1 minute left of this 5-minute candle. Right now, the Nasdaq is looking very good. We've just raided some minor sell side liquidity, so we could expect price to want to reverse. That's essentially what we need to see in order to get our market maker buy model. Thereafter, we'd be able to position ourselves in either the Nasdaq or the S&P. We'd be looking for a risk to reward of roughly 1 towards the upside. So let's stay patient. Like I said, we have about 30 minutes left of this particular 5-minute candle. I need to see Nasdaq's body close below that common swing low, not the wick itself, but the body formed at that common swing low. And as you guys can see right now, the Nasdaq is there. We have about 15 seconds left. I don't, however, want to see the body close below the low on the S&P 500. So as price is right now, it looks good. We would then need to see a strong push up that would change the state in delivery. So there you go. That 5-minute candle is just closed. That looks very promising on the Nasdaq. The S&P 500 also looks fairly promising. Now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and calculate my lot size. We'll give it about a minute or two to see if this 5-minute candle doesn't give us that push up. Otherwise, it's pretty much just pointless doing that. But what I will do now is quickly go and highlight another common swing low that we could also look to target if this specific one fails. But chaps, I am bullish on the Nasdaq, I'm bullish on the S&P 500 as well as the Dow Jones. So I'm only looking to buy. I'm not looking to sell. I'm not interested in looking to sell. So anything that or any specific framework that we discuss now onwards will be a long position. So just saying that, make sure we're all on the same page. So let's see what these next couple minutes do. The next 5-minute candle is fairly important, but like I said, I'm going to quickly go ahead, mark out that second common swing point, and I'll see you guys now. Alright, so I've gone ahead and cleared up some of the swing lows that I was looking at, and the reason I did that is we saw all three of our indices raid those specific levels, and we've not yet seen any push up. So price is still indicating bearish movement to me. Now we do have another common swing point. Should we violate this one once more, we would have to essentially wait for another common swing point to form intraday. And since we are at the low of day, we are expecting quite a lot of the marketplace to do that. So I really am keeping my fingers crossed that this specific swing point will act as our potential reversal towards the upside. Because right now I can see that the Nasdaq is going to take it out before the S&P does. Hopefully we do not see that specific swing low rated on the S&P. That would obviously qualify for a smart money reversal or smart money tool to pan out, whichever way you guys want to refer to it as. So let's once again remain patient, see what these next 50 seconds do, because that will close the 5-minute candle, and I still get a push down towards that level. I will also be looking to see what both the body and the candle does. Alright, so I need to see the Nasdaq or the S&P to close below this low, as it is doing now. It's very, very close towards that specific swing point. And likewise on the S&P 500, we are a little bit further from that, but we are still fairly close. So we are expecting a lot from the marketplace right now, but we do want to cherry pick our specific positions. We do not want to take a trade that doesn't exactly correspond with our specific analysis or our specific system that we use. So I'm just sitting on my hands. That pretty much closed that 5-minute candle. We are looking good. Seem to be wanting to push lower on the Nasdaq, but I still need to see a body close below that. And the only thing that I don't want to see is the S&P doing the exact same thing. I'm not really looking at the Dow. We've already seen this specific swing point get traded to in terms of the body. The body's already violated that specific one. Now I'm always looking at S&P. I'm always looking at both the bodies and the wicks. I understand the body is essentially the part of the candle that does the damage, whereas the body itself is going to carry all of the volume. So if the body closes below a swing low, it essentially tells me that there has been not only a sweep of liquidity, but it's completely raided it. It's finished it. There's no more liquidity below that specific level. Now that becomes very powerful when you use that with the wicks as well. So you want to see one pair not only wick below swing low, but also close below it, whereas the other asset cannot wick past or even close past that specific swing low. Okay, and what type of swing lows am I looking for? I'm looking at common swing lows. Like I have pointed out here, we have a common swing low, which is a 3-candle pattern on the 5-minute chart, which happened at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Nasdaq, as well as 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the S&P and the Dow. But the Dow is already closed below its 10-minute candle, so I'm not really too interested in that one. I'd much rather just stick to the S&P and the Nasdaq for now. Alright, so we've just seen the Nasdaq trade below it. I need to see that body body close below, but I don't want to see the same thing on the S&P. So right now the S&P's 5-minute candle is looking like it's going to close below that specific swing point. It's not what we want to see. If we do, however, see that, then we can't use this swing low as a potential reversal scenario. We'd have to just sit on our hands and see if we can't get that somewhere down the line. But with 45 minutes to go, it's still plenty of time to see a particular setup pan out, but I just don't know if we will get it. Considering that today is Friday, we're about to close on the week. We've seen some pretty big moves already in today's session alone. Now, this week has not been the best. Also not been the worst by any means. I mean, we've not taken a loss. We just haven't exactly traded this week. I mean, Monday was pretty much the best day of the week. But Tuesday was lackluster, Thursday was lackluster, Wednesday, same thing. Doesn't really matter. I mean, I guess that's trading. Some weeks you have a lot of trading, some weeks you don't. And I guess this is just one of those weeks where we have not exactly gotten that. So we're just once again going to have to remain patient, see what these next 45 seconds do. We're about to close this 5-minute candle. Hopefully the Nasdaq can maintain its closure, whereas I do not want to see the same thing on the S&P 500. Ideally we close below that specific open or close. So let's stay tuned, 27 seconds left. That is very frustrating. We've just seen that specific candle close below, so I cannot use the swing point. We're just going to have to remain patient. Fairly frustrating when these types of things happen, because now that's just, don't tend to be a very patient person, but unfortunately with trading you kind of have to be. So yeah, let's see what happens here. Alright, so we're just continuously pushing down on all three of our pairs. Now, we have about 35 minutes left until noon. We have not yet gotten our trade set up. I'm still, however, staying optimistic for the specific session, but I don't know if we are going to get our specific setup today. And the reason I say that, just for the amount of confluences that we need to happen in order for us to essentially take a long, are quite a lot. We don't have a lot of time in order to do it. And for right now, we are at current day's low, meaning we don't have any other market structure to essentially pin a S&T off of. So we would essentially need to not only form a common swing point now, but trade away from it, trade back to it, exploit that specific swing low for its sell side liquidity, and then want to reverse to the upside. Now, the chances of having all of those different confluences happen within the next 35 minutes are unlikely. However, not impossible. Price can do whatever it wants, but like I said, we're looking at a 5-minute chart, and 35 minutes, or 35 divided by 5 is about 7. So we essentially have 7 candles left, and we need to get into our trade before 12. So we actually only have about 6 5-minute candles left. Once again, I do want to remain as optimistic as I can be, but I am also realistic with myself. I do understand that 35 minutes for our particular trade setup to pan out is not a lot of time at all. So we really are asking quite a lot from the marketplace, but once again, let's stay optimistic. Let's see if we can't perhaps get that scenario pan out in this session. Otherwise, we're just going to have to go, or we're pretty much just going to have to wrap up the week with no trade on Friday, and pretty much no trades the entire week. I mean, Monday, we couldn't get the entry on our specific asset that we were targeting. However, doing some back testing, I found that I could have definitely entered on that particular pair. I just wanted to go with the pair that had taken the most liquidity, because in my mind, once a specific asset takes liquidity, it's got no further reason to want to come back down, and I was looking to go long. So for me, on a defensive standpoint, it was just a high probability for me to wait on the Dow Jones to get the entry, but we didn't get it. So that's just the name of the game. The ideal asset we could have traded was the S&P 500. Now, that's the trade that I was not going to take. I didn't want to take. Was I there? Was I present? Yes. Did we see it pan out? Yes. Was it a pair that I was essentially using as a benchmark against my proposed asset, being the Dow Jones? Yes. So from a technical standpoint, it was a brilliant day. Now, we just didn't execute on that specific trade, and it is somewhat frustrating, but I mean, that's just the name of the game, fortunately. Now, what I will be doing for the rest of this weekend is essentially seeing what I can do in order to improve the layout of these specific live streams. If we just take Monday, my first ever live stream, as an example, it was absolutely horrendous. I mean, like, the webcam was terrible, the audio was terrible. Not like the audio webcam are brilliant now, but we are getting better day by day. So, and at this point, if I'm looking at the specs, we don't have any people watching, which is, frustrating, but I'm not essentially doing this for the views. That would be awesome, but I'm doing this now because I'm wanting to hold myself accountable. I feel like if I document everything, it's the best form of feedback I can do, especially because it's live streaming. I can't sit there, I can't edit myself, I can't make myself sound better, look better. Technically you can because of audio and webcams and things like that, but what I'm trying to say is it's all live, right? So if I make myself look like a fool, it is what it is. Don't want to say I'm okay with that, but I am willing to look stupid in order to learn. And I am really just wanting to take trading to the next level. I've had some people reach out to me. I've had some very good opportunities now. And I think it's just about time to stop making excuses and just to start doing things, regardless of my friends, my families, or friends and family. Whatever they may say, they've got their opinions. don't really mean anything to me, to be honest. I'm here, I'm doing my own thing, and this is just what I'm going to be doing for pretty much the foreseeable future. So we'll see how it goes. I wish there were a little bit more people watching. I wish there was a little bit more engagement in the comment section. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I feel like if I stay consistent, if I can pull out some trades on live, people slowly but surely recognize that I can actually trade and that it is possible to carve out a profit in the specific industry. But yeah, like I said, it's the beginning stages. I wasn't actually expecting anything, and I have surpassed my expectations somewhat in this first week alone. So I'm happy about that. But you know, a man always wants a little bit more than what he's given. But that's yeah, that is what it is. I would have ideally had a better trading week because we've really not had anything happen other than Monday, and we didn't even take that specific trade. So very frustrating start. It's not how I wanted it to go, of course. We've got our own expectations for things, and that's just not always the reality of the matter. But yeah, I mean, we're out here. Let's just stay consistent. And Talano, a note from me to you. I'm happy you did this. I'm really happy you did this. You said you were going to do this for a long time, and to be doing it now, just keep doing it. Try and improve every single day, and I'm fairly certain that we will bear somewhat of... I'm trying to say we're going to bear good fruit if we stay consistent. I'm sure of that. I guess time will tell there. I mean, I'm chatting to myself right now, but I usually do that every single day. It's just now that I'm kind of broadcasting it on live and everyone can see that I am flawed. So yeah, that's where we are. If there is someone who watches this at a later date, I would really appreciate it if you just commented something. Maybe you had some feedback, maybe there's something you like, something you don't like. Yeah, I mean, a like, a dislike, and maybe why you like it, maybe why you dislike it. That'd be fantastic. But for right now, we're not seeing anything on the charts. This is very frustrating, quite boring, to be honest with you. I mean, no one really wants to sit through a 2.5 hour live stream and not get anything from it. So I do understand that's the reality for me right now. It's just a bit unfortunate because like I watch all of these live streamers, and I'm fairly certain that none of them are fucking profitable because it's like they make trading look fun. Trading's not fun. Trading's boring. It's a very mechanical thing. And the moment you try and make it fun, you essentially get your emotions in play, and that's just you. You know what I mean? Like with these live streamers, I feel like none of them are actually trading with their own capital. They've all got affiliate links and affiliate codes and these so-called companies that are just throwing money at them, throwing these so-called funds at them, or these prop firm challenges or whatever, evaluations, whatever you want to call it. And then these guys just go ahead and blow the money on all sorts of bullshit, just trading random shit, and then they claim to be profitable because of their cars and shit like that. But all of that actually comes from the affiliates and the people who watch. They just keep feeding them these false expectations. That's just not the narrative that I want to play, you know. I want to make these live streams as entertaining as I can, but I want the entertainment to come from the people who watch these streams. I want the people who watch these streams to essentially comment. I want to have a conversation with these streams. I want to build a genuine community that's based off of trust, transparency, which is exactly why I show absolutely everything. I mean, if we take this stream, for example, this is my interim broker. How many of these so-called live streamers are doing this stuff? Yeah, none. Fuck all, zero. Right? I'm showing you my login credentials, or not my login credentials, but the actual account that I trade on, as well as my interim broker, where I show you guys that this is a real account. It says real 20. If it was a demo account, it would say demo, okay? Or trial. Apologies, not demo, but trial. So, you know, I'm not one of those guys who's going to bullshit you lot. I'm really going to try my absolute best. I also show you guys my balance, and this is a real fucking balance. This ain't some bullshit. So yeah, I apologize for the profanity. I don't want to swear, but I'm a little frustrated right now, you know? Like, I was really hoping that this week would be a bit better than what it was. It looks like we're not going to get any trades. Last week we didn't get any trades either. Last time I took a trade was actually like 2 weeks ago on Thursday, which is a long time. Which is a very long time. But it is what it is. It might not be what it should be, boys? But it is what it is, you know? You just gotta roll the dice, you just gotta go with it. I mean, hey, first week live streaming, boys, so we'll take it. Like, subscribe, comment down fucking below, because no one's commenting. I might as well just have conversations with myself, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. If you guys think I'm a bit cracked in the head, I am. I do believe my mom dropped me when I was an egg. But I love my mom. Not as much as I love the Lord, but hey, that's a conversation for another time. Whoever's watching this, let me know where you're from. Where are you watching from in the world? How did you stumble upon this live stream? How can I get more people onto this live stream? My plan is essentially to start going a little bit more into the day in the life type of scenarios, where I maybe start a couple gym videos. I'm as skinny as a stick right now. I used to be less skinny, or say it like that, trying to be humble. And yeah, man, bills just came flying in left, right and center, and I couldn't really pay for that shit no more, you know. And it was like, I felt like I was in the gym making gains, but I wasn't really making gains in life. It was just all about the gym, and I looked around and I was like, well, I don't want to judge anyone else necessarily, but I just didn't want to fall under the same category as just your typical gym rat who's got gym but nothing else. And trading was super hard at the time. Like, trading's always been hard. Trading still is hard in that it's weird, because it's like, in the beginning it's hard because you don't know what the fuck's cutting. Then it becomes super hard because you know what's going on, but you now have to wait for your specific setup to form. And that's just what it is. Like, you have to wait and wait and wait and wait. And some days you might get 2 trades. Some weeks you get 0. And this is one of those weeks. I've actually never had a week where I've not taken a trade. Now, it happened last week, where I'll have to go back and backtest, but I don't believe there was a trade setup for me last week. And the reason we had that was because it was a public holiday on Monday last week. And usually the day after a public holiday is just not fruitful, and that price is going to want to try and essentially fill in those specific gaps or voids that it's left because it hasn't used the entire trading day. So last week was technically only a 3-day trading week, and I probably only get about 1 or 2 setups a week. Normally 2 setups is very good, depending on what type of trade I'm taking. So if I only get 1 setup, but I'm targeting like 1:2, that's alright, I don't mind, because I'm putting a lot of leverage behind these specific trades. I trade very high risk because I have high conviction. I know what a high probability setup is. I know what needs to happen in order for that to pan out. The only problem with high probability is it's not high frequency. So it's completely up to you as a trader. You're either going to get high frequency trades that are not high probability, or you are going to get low frequency trades which are high probability. It's kind of just like it's just a decision you got to make at the end of the day. And for me personally, I just hate taking a loss. I really do. I fucking hate taking a loss, because with me, I am a very introverted individual. Like I got many of people in my head, you know, like I'm fairly certain it's the Holy Spirit, and like maybe the devil or whoever else it is, not a goodo, you know what I mean? It's always trying to tell me some other bullshit, some negative shit, you know what like preaching frustration and envy and whatever. Whoever this person is, he's not welcome, but he's here. But yeah, like I said, like I'm constantly having conversations in my head, and I'm essentially a numbers person. I'm a perfectionist. I'm OCD as fuck. Like, you don't pick it up in the charts, I promise you. I'm very OCD. My room is like clean to the T. Everything's got its little place and equally spaced out. But yeah, I guess the reason I'm saying this is because like no one's actually watching, so I'm kind of just saying it to myself right now, which I don't mind, because I probably will be watching these videos back in order to see what I can do better. But yeah, you know, it's funny because it's like, this is what I want to do full time. I want to trade full time. I want to be able to teach people full time. I do want to start a mentorship somewhere down the line, but I understand that I need to prove myself in live. And I'm very happy that I am doing these live streams because it's as authentic as one could get. I can't essentially pause what I say in order to fix it. If I swear, you'll hear. If I lose, you'll see. And if I'm a liar, you'll just pick it up. You know, you guys have the power of discernment, and there's no way of hiding whether you're good at something or bad at something, especially if you live stream that specific thing. So for that reason, I'm just trying to be as open and transparent as I can be. Now, if you guys see these videos, thanks for clicking on. If you guys don't see these videos, don't worry, because you won't see this. But yeah, first week as a live streamer, not the best week. I mean, it is only a week, so it's not that deep, you know? Like, I kind of told myself nothing was going to happen in the first week, and I've already surpassed that, got a couple views, not a lot. But yeah, it was more so just trying to figure out the settings on the actual live streaming platform itself, the software, which I have managed to do. It's a bit unfortunate because like the first 3 live streams I did were just so awful, man. Damn, I don't even know what I said halfway through. The audio was shit. Webcam was just absolutely horrendous, and then I found out you can use your phone. So that's quite cool. Connects off Wi-Fi, but then the thing is that takes away some of the bandwidth on your Wi-Fi, which just affects your live streaming. Anyways, regardless, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop live streaming. I'm not going to stop trading. If anything, I'm going to double down on the live streaming. I'm going to double down on the trading. Can't really double down on the trading, but what I mean by that is my enthusiasm and my passion for trading is not going to go away. It's only going to get more, or it's only going to get bigger. Whatever. It's been 2 hours and 15 minutes. Alright. Chaps, I'm lonely. I need people to talk to. Like, somebody fucking get on board. Comment down below. Do something. Block the channel, report it. Oh, let's just get the fucking ball rolling here, chaps. Damn. Let's catch a trade. I want to see this. I haven't even used this fucking dashboard. I mean, literally. Okay, perfect, still there. Alright, so even if I pull up the dash, you'll see my trading history is quite literally just withdrawals. Literally. I mean, not withdrawals, deposits. Okay? It says top balance. I mean, chaps, just take my word for it. I don't walk on water, alright? I'm not perfect, I am flawed, but it's not something I'm gonna lie about, yeah? Like, it would say deposit or withdraw, and it would also say plus or negative here. It would say negative if it was a withdrawal, and it would say withdraw, if I'm not mistaken. But balance, just know, this is a brand new account. This is literally, like, I literally made this yesterday. And I made this yesterday because I've gotten, well, I'd rather not say that. side of things because it's a little bit more personal and there's a contract involved and whatnot. But anyways, alright, I'm doing this so that people can see that I am legit. I want to start a trading community of people who aren't interested to trade. But the key word is learn to trade and not bullshit, okay? I don't trade 1 minute charts. I don't trade 15-minute charts or 30-minute charts. I'm sticking to the 5 minute, alright? 5 minute for me is the absolute best chart. It's the perfect balance between high time frame and low time frame. Low time frame being 1 minute. The only difference the only thing with the 1 minute is it's very like choppy and sloppy. It's gonna catch you out. Don't want that, okay? I don't want that at all. So yeah, guys. Sorry, I gotta click up / about a crowd because no one's watching. But yeah, chaps, I don't want to be doing stupid shit. Like, I don't want to have to get people to come on here, raid the stream. You know, like, I want it to be as organic as humanly possible. But yeah, I completely understand what I need to do. I need to hit trades. I need to be profitable. I'm profitable. I am gonna hit trades. It's just not going to be as frequent as what I would want because my setups are high probability. But I'm fairly certain that the people that do come and watch these channels and do take the trades that I take will bear fruit, and that fruit will be good. It will taste amazing because of the amount of patience that it will take. Alright, keyword, patience. I'm going to say that a lot in these live streams. Alright, but for right now, we have about 15 minutes left of this particular session. Now, we have not gotten anything happen here. Okay, since open, we've just kept going down. Alright, we never got a bullish scenario to pan out. Sucks. Absolutely sucks. 2 weeks now without a trade. These are the types of things that honestly define you. Like, this is how I make my money. Trading is tough in that, like, doesn't matter how long I sit in front of the chart for, it doesn't matter how much research, well, the research definitely does help, but what I'm trying to say is, like, you work super hard in the beginning in order to find something that actually works. And then thereafter, it's kind of out of your control. The only thing in your control is to essentially show up every single day, be enthusiastic about what you want to do, but be very sure to maintain a sense of control over your emotions, over your thoughts, over pretty much everything in your life that you can control. You need to be on top of. And you kind of just have to have faith in that your specific setup will happen. Now, in any other industry, that doesn't work. Alright, like, in any other industry, I have to phone people up, you know, I got to book appointments, I have to close a client or prospect, and then they become a client. But bottom line, like, hard work doesn't really get you too far in this game. It's essentially like, it gets your foot in the door, but thereafter, it's all about smart work. Alright, it's literally all about smart work. It's all about the decisions you make and the actions you take. So if you don't take the actions, you'll never win. But likewise, if you don't work hard in the beginning, you are also not going to really develop an edge within the market. And that's essentially what it is. But the good news for you guys is I've been doing this for 6 years. So you lot don't have to have an edge. You lot don't have to go and backtest. Alright? All you need to do, watch the live stream and just participate, you know? Leave a comment, like, subscribe, share it with your friends. It'd be absolutely phenomenal. Alright? It would just make me pick up a little bit more tension, and it would make these live streams a little bit more engaging, because right now it's essentially just me sitting here and narrating what I see, and trading is boring, you know? Like, I like trading. I wouldn't say I like trading, I find it very fascinating though, I'll say it like that. I find it very fascinating. I'm a numbers guy, I'm a perfectionist. Trading is extremely hard and almost impossible to get perfect, so that constant pursuit of perfection never really dies down or leaves or fades or whatever, it's always there, right? You can always do better. Even on a winning day, there's always something you can do better, which is a brilliant, like, it's a brilliant thing to have, and it's a brilliant thing to be part of. But I want friends, you know? I want friends who also want to trade. I don't know anyone who trades. I don't know anyone who can trade legit. I don't know anyone who is passionate about trading, you know? Like, I mean, I've met many so-called fucking traders and shit, but whether they trade or not, I don't believe it, to be honest with you. Like, none of them have proof. None of them, I don't know, I've just been in the game for a long time, and I can hear a bullshitter straight away. Likewise, if I was in business, if I was a new person in business and you were a very well-established entrepreneur, you'd instantly be able to know whether I was chatting shit or not, you know? It's not hard to do. You'd be very good at discerning right from wrong because of your experience. And, yeah, well, I don't know where I'm going with this conversation, other than I'm going to keep doing this, alright? Whether people watch, cool. If you don't watch, my loss. But the trades are going to come. Christ is my king, truly. He is the rock on which I must build. And if there's one individual you can put your faith in, it's the guy who walked on water. Right? His name's Jesus, in case you know. And he's today's sponsor. He's tomorrow's sponsor. He was yesterday's sponsor. He's a sponsor. Alright. I'll make sure to voice that in every single live stream going forward. Yeah. But again, I don't want to use the Lord's name as a marketing mechanism. You know what I mean? Like, Christ is pure. Trading is money. It's a rat eat rat thing, you know. I just don't want to don't want to disrespect the holy name. I'll say it like that. Okay. Now back to the task at hand. We have about 9 minutes left of this particular session. We're not going to get a trade today, bro. It's unfortunate. I might actually just end the stream. No. Jokes. It says on my channel 9:30 to 12. So we're going to stick it out. Alright. We've got about 9 minutes left. See what the rest of the session has. Absolutely nothing. Such as life, ladies and gents. You know, like, I'm fairly happy it's the weekend because now I'm gonna have time to, you know, just reflect a little bit. Like, there's definitely things I can improve on. A good example was yesterday's price action was absolutely phenomenal, and I did see the bar in the Nasdaq and the S&P, but the only reason I didn't take that specific trade was because we had already seen a buy side raid on the S&P as well as the Dow. Now, I don't want to go in the direction of... Okay, so if 2 of 3 have taken buy side, I technically don't want to buy anymore because the 2 of 3 have taken it, alright? I want to position myself where at least 2 assets still have the same profit objective in place, alright? The same buy side level, or buy side, okay? And buy side for me comes in the form of current day high, current day low, alright? I'll show you guys here what I mean by that. So as soon as the trading day starts, I literally go to new day open. New day open is at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know it is a little bit confusing, not sure why it's at 6 p.m. but anyways, it's 6 p.m. So Friday's trading session today started yesterday at 6 p.m. Alright, now it is a bit confusing. Like I said, don't know why, but anyways, that's just the name of the game and we out here. So let's get. Now, I look at everything right of new day. Okay, so this is Friday. So we've marked out the high prior to 9:30. Okay, anything from 6 o'clock to 9:30 in my eyes is liquidity. All right, I am of a strong belief that at 9:30 we are going to go for that liquidity. We're going to want to take the buy side and we're going to want to take the sell side. Now, we won't always get 2 raids, but we will get at least one of those levels hit. Okay, so today's a prime example. If we look here, I've marked out the S&P. We've had sell side get taken. Now the Dow Jones, likewise, we had sell side get taken. Did we go for buy side? No. I was hoping that we could maybe see a push towards buy side. Whether we were going to hit it or not, I wasn't too concerned about that. I wasn't exactly looking for us to go all the way up to buy side, but I just wanted to get in a trade where I can at least get like 1:1. And say for example, we open at 9:30 and we do not see a liquidity raid or sweep in terms of buy side or sell side. On those particular days, I'm looking to take a much bigger trade, meaning I'll go for 1:2 risk to reward. Yeah. And so if we don't get a significant liquidity sweep, then I look for 1:2. But if we've already gotten that significant liquidity sweep, then I'm honestly just looking to go for like a 1:1. Okay, and the reason I go 1:1 is because I'm putting a lot of risk behind my specific trades. Okay, no doubt you guys would have heard a saying, very common saying. It goes high risk, high reward. I have a different saying. It's high accuracy, high reward. I might sound like a gambler, but once again, that is just my perspective on my experience based off of my backtesting, my due diligence, all of the data I've collected from a quantitative analysis. Quantitative analysis essentially is just a numbers game where you collect data off of specific things. For example, you journal different things, and then after a set period of time you look at each specific faculty and essentially judge whether or not that is something that is good, something that is bad, or something you could just disregard. And I've essentially done boatloads of backtesting in order to come to something that is profitable. Now, like, that's just the thing with trading. Like, it took me so long to find something that works. Now that I have something that works, it takes me so long to do the thing that works. You know, like it's so weird. It's so hard. All right. That's what makes trading hard. Because it's like, it's less is more. And I'll tell you guys a story, or I'll give you an example. Everyone talks about Bitcoin back in like 2010. But the thing is, Bitcoin was only good for you if you had invested and pretty much just forgot about it. You know, that person would have reaped a lot when it was at like 120, okay? Whereas for someone who essentially goes in Bitcoin and then they get out, go back in, get out, go back in, you know, the more you interfere, the worse it actually is for your specific portfolio. So you essentially just want to put it in and leave it. Now, that is very different also because we are day trading. Well, I'm day trading. So that means I am constantly monitoring price action from an intraday perspective. I want to get in and I want to get out within the same day, okay? I'm not looking to hold my trade overnight. I'm not looking to keep it over the weekend. I want to get in now. I want to get out in a couple minutes time, whether it's 2 hours, 3 hours, bottom line, it'll be in the same day, okay? So if I trade, you guys know what I mean. If you don't, you got issues, bro. But yeah, bottom line, that's pretty much what we're looking for. Now we have not been able to get it today. We haven't been able to get it today. I mean, this week, last week, unfortunate. Yeah. As well as. But don't worry, chaps, your boy ain't gonna give up. I'm gonna persist. You have to stay persistent in order to persevere without moral compromise. That one came from the Holy Spirit, chaps. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that right now, man. So that's a wrap. All right, we've not gotten any setups for this week. Fairly frustrating. I will be back next week. what we're gonna do a little bit different in next week is what we are gonna do in next week's trading is I'm gonna be doing live streams every single day, and then after my live stream, I'll record a video. I'm going to record a market review of that specific day. If I take a trade, it's going to be a good market review. Well, good or bad. If I've lost, it's not going to be too great for me. But I mean, I'll have to learn. You know, this is exactly why I'm making these videos. It's for me to learn. It's for you to learn. It's essentially just to document the entire journey. You guys are going to see exactly what I do. And I want you guys to learn from our mistakes. You know, I've been doing this for 6 years. I do not want anyone to go through what I went through for those first 6 years. Just the pain and stress that it essentially not only caused me, but like the people around me. You know, like I understand my family wants to see me thrive, and I'm very grateful for that. And obviously, I want to thrive and do well, but I want to do well in this. I'm a very stubborn individual. You know what I mean? Like, Christ is my king. Like, what obstacle can truly stand in a man's way if he's built his house on the rock? So, this is a very, very hard industry. You know, I could have literally, I don't think I could have gone with the hard industry, to be honest, and I went with this straight after school as well. I actually tried to go on the yachts for South African viewers. It's a very common South African practice for us to want to go out of our country, earn foreign currency, and then bring it back to our local exchange rate, where our purchasing power is dramatically increased based off of the exchange rate. If you earn dollars, come back to South Africa, you shop. But yeah, then COVID came, and that pretty much just started like the whole digital era. At least for me in my mind, I was like, no, I can't be doing stuff with my hands. I have to do it on my laptop. Okay, which is just pretty funny because it's like now we are kind of going backwards, and that those types of jobs are going to be so much more valuable now because of AI. AI is essentially going to just take over and whatnot. But anyways, chaps, pretty unfortunate we've not got on a trade today. I do want to apologize for that, even though it's kind of out of my control. I really want to make these streams as entertaining as humanly possible. I'm slowly but surely stepping outside of my shell. I want to put myself out there. I want to look dumb as fuck. That way you lot can essentially have a little bit of a laugh, have a little bit of a giggle, but I want you guys to learn with me. I want you guys to essentially teach me, you know? Teach me the ways of a live streamer. Teach me what you guys find exciting, what you guys want to engage with. Like what you guys watch on the other live streamers and you're like, fuck bro, the fuck is this so chatting about, you know? Like I want another guy to do this different, that different, you know? Anyway, so I'm going to do my due diligence. I'm going to love and leave you lads right here, right now. All you lads, ladies, loved ones, everyone. Hope you guys have a fantastic afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. It is 6 p.m. local time for me. So I'll wrap it up here. No trades this week, no trades last week. Yeah. We're gonna make it, chaps, don't you worry. We are gonna make it. Success is gonna feel bittersweet, okay? But I'll see you guys in the next one. And for next week, our game plan, sorry, I completely just went off topic. But from next week, I'm going to be doing market reviews as well. So whether or not I take a trade or not, there will be a market review. And the reason I'm doing that, I just want to start feeding the algorithm a little bit more videos. I feel like the more I put out there, the higher probability I have of essentially picking up traffic, getting a little bit more people on these live streams. And the more people that can join these live streams, more comments, more engagement. It slowly but surely becomes more excitement, you know? We can build a community. I want people to come, rest here, you know? Just be yourself. I'm weird. I really, yeah. God is the judge and he wore sandals, so it's like, who cares about what I think? Anyways, chaps, that pretty much wraps it up for June the 5th or Friday the 5th of June 2026. Lackluster session. If you guys, however, did participate in the market and you managed to go short, because only the shorts have been grafting here, I hope you guys carved out a little bit of a profit. If you guys have watched this video and found it to be insightful, please let me know what you found to be insightful. That way I can just double down on those specific faculties and make sure you guys get as much value as humanly possible. If there's something you guys did not like, and I could probably guess it would be the volume, the audio, I do apologize, there was technical difficulties in the background, but I'm not going to blame that. It was me, it was my fault. Hopefully this live stream will be a little bit better and you guys can actually hear what I'm saying. I am going to be... Don't know what I was going to say there, but anyways, chaps, I'm going to love and leave you here. Have an absolutely fantastic day. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your weekends. And I will see you guys in the next live stream at Monday, 9:25 Eastern Standard Time. Come ready, come prepared. And yeah, we're going to grab the ball with both hands and give it our all. Guys, I love you lots. Till next time, take care. Cheerio.